Hello, good afternoon, everybody, or evening now. It's past 6. Good evening. Where is everyone? I'm only seeing 100 though, out of 1,005. Remember, we are taking attendance now. So, if we are taking our attendance and I'm seeing 100 of you here, and I'm getting attendance of 500, that means there's a problem. So, class rep, please, if we are dropping the attendance link, I don't want to have more than those that are here. Okay? All right, thank you. So, all right. Good evening, everybody. Thank you. All right. So, who wants to give us a summary of what we've done so far? Summary of what we can just drop a sentence or send just something to. No, I don't want something too long. In the chat box, please. A sentence of what we learned from what we have done so far in hire purchase. So before we go ahead, I will know that you are getting what I'm saying. I'm waiting, everybody. So what do you have to say about what we did in the morning or in the afternoon? I'm waiting. What is hire purchase? So we don't have anyone here that's willing to. Okay. Chiamaka, thank you. You said hire purchase is defined under the Hire Purchase Act. The payments of goods in portions of an agreement under which the believe may buy the goods. Okay, can you just, in your words now, in your words, not what I give to you. Okay, Akorede says in hire purchase, only possession is transferred at the beginning of the contract. Ownership is transferred after the last payment. That's a very good one. Okay, Grace says the first duty of the owner is to deliver beautiful. To deliver, yes. And the hire must receive delivery, beautiful. Dear caller says hire purchase is different from condition. Yes, it's different from conditional sale and credit sale. I hope you now know what conditional sale is and what credit sale is. Now, one of the things that differentiates it from hire purchase is when the title in the property passes. Now, for conditional sales and credit sale, the title in the property passes immediately the contract commences, unlike hire purchase, which property passes at maybe the end of the transaction and is at the option of the parties. Jessica said hire purchase is a legal term of an agreement in which the owner of the goods transfers possession to the hirer for his use and enjoyment in return for payment. Okay. Okay, Remedies says, I learned the difference between hire purchase and credit sale. And so what's the difference? Abdul Salam says, hire purchase is a transfer of possession to an hirer, and the payment is by installments. Yes. I would have loved that you clean this up a little bit. because you need to include that there is an option to transfer the property at the end of the transaction, which is at the um, that's for the either of the party to do that if they wish to. Okay, so let's go ahead. Thank you so much. Thank you for your contributions. Okay. So we I started with remedies of the owner. The remedies of the owner. And I said one of the remedy for the owner is repossession. Did you get me to this point? That the remedy, okay, um, so you now know that the remedy for the owner of repossession. Damilola says yes. I hope every one of us will agree to that. That the remedy of the owner is repossession. Oh, beautiful. You said I stopped here. Thank you for this. This is Jessica. Thank you, Jessica. Okay, so for like I said then, I said one of the most popular remedies given to an owner under a hire purchase agreement is the right to repossess the goods which have been delivered to the buyer. So since ownership in the goods does not pass to the buyer upon delivery, repossession is not considered illegal. I hope you get this. So, okay, so this question, okay, don't worry, I'm going to treat it, but let's just go ahead. Let's conclude. Um, I may want you to give me this question later, but I want us to conclude with our class, okay? So, okay. So, in as much as title has not been passed to the hirer, it will be easy and it will be legal for the owner to reclaim possession if the hirer is not paying up the installments. And I think I explained to you that you don't just say, oh, because the IRA hasn't paid the first, maybe the next installment, which is just one once. At least you should wait for the third default or the fourth default. Then by then, you know, oh, this person is really not yielding and is not ready to go ahead with the hire purchase agreement. So at this point, the owner can go reclaim possession. So the remedy of repossession is available to the owner where the hirer fails to make the agreed payment. Please, I want you to follow me. And it usually becomes exercisable. All right, let me pick it, and by then I just want you to please to go along with me. So I'm going to drop something here. So now the remedy of repossession is available to the owner where the hirer fails to make the agreed payment, and it usually becomes exercisable where there have been several defaults by the hirer. So like I said, it only becomes exercisable. It only becomes legal and acceptable by the law when there have been several defaults on the part of the hirer. You just don't say, oh, this person defaults yesterday. So I'm going there to go and reclaim possession, all right? So the law expects you to at least give them enough time. So Section 9 of the Hire Purchase Act give elaborate provision for how these would apply. So I will see how I'll forward this to your classwork. So where the hirer has paid a relevant portion. Okay. So where the hirer has paid, please, you can read along with me so I would explain better, okay? I've dropped it in the chat box. Where the hirer has paid a relevant proportion of the purchase price, the owner is not entitled to repossess the goods without recourse to the courts. So the section, what this is trying to actually portray is that if out of, let's assume that the Uber driver is expected to pay 2 million naira for the car that is on hire, and he has paid to 1.8 million naira, you cannot say maybe because he hasn't paid the last 2 installments, so then you are going to repossess. What the law is saying here is that before you can make use of this remedy, you would have to file such a case before a court that would then decide appropriately, because like a huge amount of the money has been paid. Even if it is 1.6, 1.6 is still a huge amount out of 2 million naira. So at that point, you cannot just go and repossess. You have to go through the order of court. The court will have to be involved before you can repossess. Okay. So because of the injustice which an owner may suffer through the negligence or careless use of the goods under hire purchase by a hirer who has paid the relevant proportion of the price, Section 9, subsection 5 of the Act, which I'm actually going to send to you, was incorporated into the Hire Purchase Act. So the subsection provides that where 3 or more installments of the hire purchase price have become due but remains unpaid by the hirer, the owner, without having recourse to the court, may remove such goods from the possession of the hirer. This is sometimes called interim repossession. Okay, so what the court is just trying to, what the law is trying to say here is that there are times that if repossession is not done, it can cause a great injury to the owner. Let's take, for example, I'll still be using the Uber driver because, like I said, that is one of the places where Nigeria, we see it a lot in Nigeria. So if the hirer, if he's supposed to pay 2 million naira, he had paid like 6 million or 8 million. Yeah, he has paid 600,000 or 800,000. And after the 800,000, he refused to pay 3 subsequent installments. At that point, it will be advisable, and the court recommends, or the law recommends, that the owner repossess that property or the car. Now, I'll give you an example. I don't know if I've cited this example in this class. That a family friend who actually gave his car out for hire, the hirer has paid some amount of money, but at some point, he stopped making the instrumental payment, and he also parked the car. And you know, when it comes to car, it needs to be moving, or you need to kick it. If not, it will be deteriorating. So at that point, the law is saying it will be good so that the owner will not suffer more than the instrumental payment that hasn't been paid, so that the car will not go bad or will not have faults that you may not be able to repair. There are times that sometimes when the car goes back, it will even be more than the amount that is expected, that is left unpaid. So the law recommends that such a vehicle be repossessed so that it will be in care of the owner, and it will see to it that the subject of this hire purchase agreement is not damaged, or the owner will not suffer any damage at the end of it. So what the law says about this kind of repossession is called interim repossession. That means you are taking the possession in the interim. What it means is that for the time being, you are taking possession for the time being, not a possession that is for life. Because at the end of the day, you may have to sit down together with the IRA to know which way to go. All right. Please, did you understand this? I need your yes or no so that I'll be able to go forward. Did you understand? Did you get my explanation? Okay, all right, all right. So let's just go ahead. We are almost done. So how many are we in class now? We are just 279. Class rep, I'd like you to check the YouTube and check those that are there so that we can drop the attendant link. Then we'll be able to calculate those that are in class. I don't want to have more than those that are in class. All right, guys. Let's go ahead. So let's look at the remedy that is available to the hirer. All right. You know, the law tries to strike balance in several conditions. And in this condition, in this hire purchase agreement, the law also gives some remedies to the hirer, because some owner may actually abuse the power of repossession. So then, or the power that, because they know they are the owner of that property, they can decide not to even deliver possession, even in the first place, or deliver possession with some further condition. So the Lord actually tried to strike a balance with this remedy. We call it rescission. That is the right for the hirer to rescind, to repudiate a contract, to say, oh, I'm not going ahead with this contract again. But then they are not in, it's all these, the condition for this is stated by the law. Like I said, the law tries to, if you look at, if you are the type that actually have been able to read some laws, you will notice that there are a lot of repetition. To you, it looks like repetition, but the law tries to cover all aspects, because human being, you may see yourself as a nice person, but there are some things, you know, there's a book of, the Bible says that the heart of the man is so worse that no one knows. Even the man himself gone, at times you may not know what is in your mind. So that's why the law actually tries to make give more room for people to actually get remedies in this kind of cases. So this, I've dropped something here, decision. Just as it is with every other contract, where an owner of a good in hire purchase breaches any condition of the agreement, where an owner of goods in hire purchase breaches any condition of the agreement, whether express or implied, the hirer has a right to reject the goods and treat the contracts as repudiated. So I want somebody to give me an example of what are the example. Okay, in what way do you think an hirer can breach a condition of hire purchase agreement? I'll repeat. In what circumstance? Let's take, for example, this our Uber driver, this car deal hire purchase, and if you can think of any other, it's okay. But can you give me an example of a situation where the owner can breach any of the condition of agreement? I need your response, please. And if you don't understand, I can rephrase. Instances where the owner can breach the contract in hire purchase. Okay, Bosse says, when the goods is not paid for the beautiful. Oh, you guys are following. Thank you. That's good. Thank you, Bosse. Any other example? Bosse has given us a very nice one. Any other example? In what situation do you think an owner can breach an agreement in hire purchase? Any other person would try? Who is trying? Okay, Omitayo says, when the item is not what was actually sealed fit for purpose, where the goods does not fit description, beautiful. Nobody is talking about where the owner did not deliver possession. Nobody is saying that. Where the good does not fit description, beautiful. If the owner does not make payments. No, we are saying the owner. A situation where the owner can breach the agreement. Okay, please. Yes, divine, you are okay, but you are talking about the IRA now. I mean the owner. Yes, yes. Justin says where the owner did not deliver possession. That's good. So Peculiar says if the owner repossesses the goods without proper cause or without beautiful. Oh, but I feel like clapping. Please clap for yourself. Clap for yourself. I want to see the clapping emoji. You have done so well. That's so good. That means you're following me. You're not clapping for yourself, so beautiful. Because you guys have done so well. All right, so let's just go ahead. So you guys have given me example, and exactly that is what I want to say. So where the hirer accepts delivery of goods, and despite the owner breach of a condition, where the hirer accepts delivery of goods despite the owner's breach of condition, he has waived his right to rescind the contract. And the breach of contract is treated as a breach of a warranty, entitling the hirer to recover only damages. All right, please, I'm going to drop this here. That's good. Thank you for clapping for yourself, but I've continued. You know, I've carried on in my class. I hope you are getting. All right, so I want us to read this together. Okay? Read along with me. I think I dropped something here. Okay. So I want you to read along with me. Where a hirer accepts delivery of goods despite the owner's breach of a condition, he or she waives the right to rescind the contract, and the breach of the condition is thereby treated as a breach of warranty, entitling the hirer to recover only damages. What we just read now, what it means is that where the owner, you have given us situations where the owner can breach the contract. If in all these situations, I'm asking for a Toyota vehicle, you gave me a Mercedes-Benz. If the Mercedes-Benz, immediately you gave me the Mercedes-Benz, I received it and I accepted. I did not bother you. I did not say, oh no. Even if I said, oh, what you did is not right. But I went ahead to start using the vehicle. I have waived my right to rescind. I have waived my right to opt out of the contract. The only thing that I'm entitled to before the court is damages. I can maybe later that I notice that, okay, let me just give a light example like that. You know, Toyota is known for its ruggedness and the fact that you get its parts in Nigeria. But for Mercedes-Benz, you have to be like a very careful driver or a careful person. The maintenance is expensive. I even learned that fueling it costs more than Toyota. If a driver did not refuse it at the beginning and he went ahead to use it, to use Mercedes-Benz, and at that point he noticed he had been spending too much on the maintenance. He had been spending too much on fuel, and he decided at that point that he wants to return it. the law is saying, oh, you cannot return it. Although you can express your grievances, you are only entitled to damages in court. And the way damages is given is not as if the court is a Father Christmas. It may not even give him up to what he has spent. But if he can give account of what he has spent, of course, if the court can sees that, oh, it is tenable, then the court can actually grant it. Because most of these are granted at the discretion of the court. It's not as of your rights, but is when the court sees, oh, that you are supposed to have them. Okay, so what I'm saying in essence, in short, is that in a contract of hire, where the owner breaches a condition in the hire purchase agreement, and the hirer did not immediately register his grievances and refuse to go ahead with the contract, but instead keeps on going ahead with the contract, the court will not accept the person to come back and say, oh, I'm not going, I want to return your vehicle to you, I'm not doing it again. No, you have to go ahead, just that the court will grant you damages. Please, do you understand me? I want a yes or no, please. I want a yes or no. Beautiful. So let us go to at some point, I want us to talk about minimum payment clauses and damages. Minimum payment clauses. This yes, you are saying. I hope it's not because you are tired. I hope it's not because you are tired. Okay, so I want to believe you are saying the yes because you actually understood what I said. Because we are almost done. In the next 5-10 minutes. Okay, so class rep, please drop the link. Let them start filling it. I see that we have 300 here. So, but you have not given me reports on what is on YouTube. You have not given me the report of the YouTube attendance. So please, I need you to give me and be sincere, okay? All right. Okay, Peculiar says, I have a question concerning breaches. In the case of inflation, if the IRA realizes that the price of the possession has appreciated, are they allowed to change the terms of agreement? Oh. Are you saying the IRA or the owner? In case of inflation, if the IRA realizes that the price of the possession, beautiful. Thank you, Peculiar. So if the owner realizes that, oh, especially this dollar, anyways, so, they will have to stick to their agreement, to their initial contracts. It cannot just come up and say, oh, because the price has changed. All of this, it should have put them into consideration. And that is business. You win some and you lose some. So as a businessman, especially presently in Nigeria, the way they increase prices now is telling you not because of what they have, it's because of when to purchase it again. Most of them, even they have goods that they bought at the rate of 200 naira, but they are selling a few of them, some of them at 1,000 naira because of when to go and buy it. So as a businessman, you need to be smart. So my answer is that they cannot go back on their contract. And as a businessman, you win some, you lose some. Okay, so that's good. So let's talk about this minimum payment clause. So Jessica said, is there an interest as payment is made in installments? He has calculated all his money. What this IRA does is, if a car costs 2 million naira, I'm answering Jessica. If a car costs 2 million naira, they would add their profit, the interest, everything, and give it out for hire at the sum of 4 million naira, because they will have calculated they would have every expenses let's assume that for the next 1 year that the installment is meant to be paid, they would have calculated all of that. And very good hire purchase agreement is such that they can even get the things back. I mean the items on hire, they can get them back. Okay? So Jessica, your answer is that all of these interest, profit will have been put into the payment arrangement. So Ashaolu says, ma, you said the court is not Father Christmas. My question is damages paid by the court or if it is the owner that breaches, it is the owner that would pay. But what I'm saying is that there are times you hear people going to court for exorbitant amounts. They may say, oh, I'm asking for damage of 50 billion naira. So the court is not the Father Christmas. The court will want you to prove the cost, all the things, the expenses you have made, or the reason why you want that damage. The court will expect you to prove it with evidence before those can be granted. And that's the reason why I said the court is not Father Christmas. Beautiful. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about this minimum payment clause. So I have dropped it here, but let me just drop this again because our explanation may have cleared them. Don't worry, we are going very soon. In the next 10 minutes, we are leaving. Class rep, please, have you dropped it? Has the class rep dropped the link? So that, all right. Thank you, Olatibosu. Okay. So, like we're saying, so let us read this also together, then I will explain. And I want you to read it attentively. All right. So, a hire purchase agreement is neither one that is strictly for hire or for sale. It is something in between. So the owner delivers the goods to the hirer, knowing that the latter will likely buy the goods at the end of the transaction. That has been our argument so far. That has been my explanation so far. Hire purchase is not is out of what you have done in this semester. Hire purchase is the simplest, but then it is just for you to correct your assumption. People's assumption is that hire purchase is a contract on installment. No. In hire purchase, the owner delivers the good to the hirer, knowing that the latter will likely, it's not that must, will likely buy the goods at the end of the transaction. Okay, so most hire purchase agreement contains a minimum payment clause, which indicates the minimum amount that the hirer can pay in order to legally terminate the contract. All right. So what we are saying is that their agreement will state that if you want to go ahead with buying this thing, you must have paid, if out of 2 million naira, you must have paid like the sum of 1.5 million naira. Then at that point, it will be seen as if you are looking towards purchasing it. Listen to me very very well, please. What I'm saying here is that this minimum payment clause and damages, what it means is that for you to say, oh, how much, at some point, if it's somebody that is calculating, an hirer should ask the owner that, please, if you are saying, oh, this thing is just on hire, it's just on rent, can we then say, can you please tell me at what point will I know that, oh, I have paid to the extent where I will then see myself as buying it? So the minimum payment, they can then agree that, okay, if you have paid up to 1.5 million, then we can see you as buying it. Then the hire purchase, the rental stops at that point. The rental terminates. It then now can then move to you purchasing the item. Please, did you understand me? Now, in the text that I'm going to send to you, you'll be able to get it better, okay? So the familiar clause, okay, I also want to explain this sentence, the first sentence that says that hire purchase agreement is not strictly an agreement for hire, and it's not strictly an agreement for sale. So what we are saying here is that, you know, when you are saying, let's say for example, some of our mothers, if they want to do an elaborate party that they are expecting like 1,000 guests, what they do at times is they rent cooking items, they rent pot, they rent plates. That rental, can it lead to purchase? I want a yes or no. The rental that our parents make when they want to do parties, that they go ahead to rent plates, rent pots, does that lead to purchase? Thank you very much. It doesn't lead to purchase. Okay, so that is what we are saying, that hire purchase agreements, it is not strictly on hire because there's an intention to buy, and it is not strictly on sale because they might end up saying, oh, I'm not buying again. The hirer can end up saying, oh, I'm not buying again. So it is in between hire and sale. So beautiful, thank you. Somebody brought up this again. So I just explained the first sentence here, and I hope you got it right. So this familiar clause usually provide that in the event of the hire purchase agreement being terminated for any reason before the stated proportion of the hire purchase price has been paid, the owner shall be entitled to recover from the hirer the difference between the fraction and the sum that is already paid or payable. Let me just pick this and drop this here. I want you to really read it and go along with me. Okay, that's it. So let's read it together carefully. So this familiar clause usually provide that there are some things that has been said before I drop this. That in the event, class rep, they said the attendant is not taking responses. We only have for like 5 minutes to end this class. Please help them out. Class rep, please help them out. Okay, Justin says, before we go ahead, let's just attend to Justin. And Justin, some people are, okay, Justin says, ma'am, about the price. Does it mean you complete payment for full price or you renegotiate after the higher purchase price has been paid, but hirer wants to change to full legal ownership? I hope I understand this your question, but let me just answer it the way I understood it. Now, hire purchase agreement, you do not renegotiate again. If the price is 2 million naira, what we are saying is that if you are paid 1.5 million, at that point, it can now, we are saying this minimum payment is saying you can now assume and take the possession of a buyer like you are buying it. But then you must make payment too. It doesn't mean you won't pay the remaining. It just means that at that point your status has been moved to the status of a buyer, not an hirer. Okay, so let us look at this. The hire purchase agreement being terminated. Okay, the familiar clause usually provided that in the event of the hire purchase agreement being terminated for any reason before a stated proportion of the hire price has been paid, the owner shall be entitled to recover from the hirer the difference between the fraction and the sum that is already paid or that is payable. Okay, so what we are saying in essence is that if at the point where the person had paid like a huge amount. And the IRA stops paying. Now, the owner has the right to take the money back. Let's minus 1.5 from 2 million naira, 500,000 naira must be paid back. He has the right to claim for that, even going to court. Okay? So class rep, what have we done? Has it been? Okay, so people, please go ahead. You can send question now. Let's send in question and let's start answering questions. Okay? So class rep, please class members, please confirm that you can fill this form. Please confirm that you can fill the form. Class rep, you have not given me the data of those that are on YouTube. Oh. I need you to give me their data. Those on YouTube, I need to know how many people are there. So I've seen a lot of questions. I'll have to go up to go and check them again. Okay, let's start from I know. I think we have attended to Justin's question. Alatubosun, you have not sent, how many people are on Zoom? You can send it to me to my WhatsApp. Okay? All right, so let's answer this question. It says that, ma, is there also time clause stating when he or she has to pay a certain amount of money? And if he or she doesn't meet the time frame, will there be any form of refund? Okay. You know what? Like you said, yeah, they have time frame. The way they do draft this thing is such that they will draft it that maybe at every second of every month or every 30th of every month, you must pay the money. So underneath it, they may now say, oh, but you have a free will or a freeway, a leeway of, they can allow you, they can give you opportunity of 3 days of default. At that point, you are not entitled to pay damages or so. But they can say, oh, if the money is due for 30th of every month, they can then say, oh, then you can have 3 additional days in case there was a problem or something. So there is always a fixed time that is expected to be paid. Okay, he now said a form of a refund. Now, some people also do additional clause and say, if after 3 days you did not pay, you'll be entitled, you'll be paying interest of maybe 2 naira additionally to the installments. Because most of the time, all of these owners, a lot of them do go to bank to borrow. And the bank is also expecting them to repay too. And they are waiting for this installment payment. So, in as much as the bank will take interest for them, they also will be adding. But then, this have to be expressly stated in their contract that, oh, for every day that you default, you'll be paying 1 naira or 2 naira default payment, which also serves as interest. I know, did you get that? Did I not get that? Okay, so let me keep doing this. I'm still scrolling down, taking the question one after the other. Okay, so I know repeated the question twice and I've answered. Please, ma'am, are there any recourse option available to the IRA in the event of financial hardship or unforeseen circumstances that prevent them from meeting the minimum payment requirement? Of course, you know, the parties, they are the ones that enter the contract together. Now, they can also come back and say, come, the IRA can meet with the owner, especially for some owners that are very considerate. This is happening to me. I have a problem, and all and so forth, and so on and so forth, you know, all of that. Then they can redraft their hire purchase agreement to suit their needs. And also, it may be at some point, the IRA cannot make payments again. It can decide to opt out of the hire purchase agreement and say, oh, he can then deliver possession and say, oh, because remember, he has that thing on hire. In as much as the goods in contention is not bad, is not spoiled, he can recover, the owner can recover. He can recover possession. Okay, so what is the situation where a hirer pays up to 90% for an item, then got involved in an accident and couldn't pay? Remember, I don't know if I mentioned in this class that in the event of unforeseen accident like that, especially if those accidents are not from the side of the hirer. Let's say, for example, the hirer was involved in armed robbery attack, and he has paid 90%. He has nothing, he cannot recover anything. If the hirer has paid up to 90% and there's an accident, now remember, the accident, if it's not his fault, okay, at that point, the owner cannot request for the money again. And if the hirer also, we have to leave it. So like you said, is it the right for the owner to repossess? So the owner cannot repossess if the accident is not the fault of the hirer. You know, I gave example of armed robbery. In that case, it's not his fault. There are some accidents that happens on the expressway, which may be from the other side, another driver. If the person, you know, he cannot repossess again. That's his loss. Okay? Like I said, in business, you lose some, you win some. So Esther says, where do I classify those that hire transport vehicles and remit daily sales to the owner? Now, remember, some of them hire alone. It's just that, and in fact, some of them, it's not even hire. It's just like somebody saying, oh, you are my, you are my employee. So you are driving this vehicle for me. Most of them do not hire it. Most of them are working for people. They are working as drivers. And so they have to deliver some amount of money. But some of them, they hire those things with the intention to purchase later. So in that case, this hire purchase clause works for them. And also, like you said, it's possible, Esther, that some people actually hire the vehicle and pay daily sales, especially these commercial buses. Okay, I have given you the situation where it can be classified under hire purchase. That is if there's an intention, if there's an option to purchase later. Hey, please, I think we should end this class, but I'm still seeing a lot of questions. Okay, so Soji says that what is the situation where hirer pays 90% for an item, then got involved? Okay, I think we've answered that. So Basit says, can mortgaging be classified? No, mortgaging is not hire purchase. It's also there's a law that also guides and protect that works on that too. So a mortgage agreement is quite different from hire purchase agreement. They have different laws that protects them. In mortgages, mostly is on property, is on landed property. So Ugoma says ownership of good passes after the final instrumental payment has been completed, and it stated that the hirer has the option to purchase or return the goods. Why would hirer choose not to purchase the good at this point? Anyway, it's a good question. I'm sure you are being you are thinking, oh, why would it's just the law. It's just the law. The law is just letting the hirer know that come. Don't say because you have made this up, this you can then say anything. All right. Most of time they go ahead, they buy it. Most of it. Jesus. So Jessica, what are we going to do? You repeat your question. Okay, let's see. In a situation where Yara got into an agreement with the owner of a tricycle to make instrumental payment for duration of 12 months, at the end of which, so participant has reduced, they have gone because they have field attendance. Chisra. However, 5 months into the operation, the hire got into an accident to which the owner used his money to repair the tricycle, but refused to give it back to the hirer on the basis that he is no longer giving it due to the reckless driving of the hirer, that it cost him so much money to repair this tricycle. He claimed that most of the payments made by the hirer was what was used to do the repair, and he fears that the hirer may commit more several damages in the future and might no longer be interested purchasing it after much damage. Okay. The hirer then decided to sue the owner to court on the basis of breach of contract since the agreed month had not elapsed yet. At this point, what is the remedy that can be used to resolve this case? Okay. You say there are a lot of things that you have mentioned, and it has been clear to us that the driver, number one, is a reckless driver. Number two, the vehicle got bad or the tricycle had an accident and the owner had to fix it with his own money. Now, remember, it is only on hire. It is okay that he has sued to court, but I'm very sure that the court will decide in favor of the owner, because in this case, the owner, you remember when we're talking about damages suffer, if the owner sees that he can suffer damage as a result of the IRA carelessness, the court, remember we have stated earlier that the law allows the owner to repossess it. If you did not remember, Jessica, and if you did not forget when I mentioned that he can repossess according to the law, if he knows that it's going to suffer damage. Ma, please, I have a question. If the IRA, that is Chinaza, says, if the IRA has defaulted in payment for up to 6 to 8 months, can the owner still repossess the vehicle if the IRA has initially made yes, so 6 to 8 months default, that's enough ground to repossess. In fact, the owner is even magnanimous enough to wait for 6 or 8 months installments. Okay, did you get me, Chinasa? So I know says that in case where the owner dies and there's a shift in ownership, can the new owner change the clause? No, they cannot change the clause of the contract. The new owner cannot change the clause of the contract. That is unfair on the IRA. The law will not agree for that. So Abimbola says, can someone please send, oh, okay. I think we have come to the end of the class. Okay, Kolawole says, after completing the installments and the IRA decides to trigger the purchase with another payment, no, another payment cannot be made. That is all the payment that is expected to make, okay? Did you understand that, Kolawole? Another payment is not expected to be made. So Salvation says, please, ma, I don't really understand your explanation on peculiar questions. Are the recourse option available dependent on how the owner chose action on it, or there are usual stated? They are legal terms, and that's why I said I'm going to give you my note. You go and read it more. Remember, especially when we are talking about the repossession that one of your classmates asked now, that where the owner senses that the IRA is being reckless, the court says the law agrees for him to repossess because he has sensed that he would suffer damage. So all of this is not me just saying it. This is what the court says. It is the provision of the law. So I know says that in case we are the owner, where the owner dies, and there's a shift in ownership, can the new owner change? Okay, like I said, I've answered this, I know. I said the new owners cannot change the clause of the contract, all right? They cannot change the clause of the contract. At this point, I think you have done well. So what do you think? Did you understand this topic very well, enough for you? Did you understand the topic very well? Okay. So like I said, I've given you my email address. If you do not, you can always send a mail to me. You can come to my office. My office is room 3 as room room 137. Room 137. You can check me in the office anytime. I'll be here. So Taiwo says, what if the vehicle got stolen after 80% payment made? Will the hire have to pay the rest? No, 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 no. I have made, the law says that in these cases like this, it was stolen. Now, if it is not the fault, because there are some people, they are careless. If the hirer was careless, he parked the vehicle at a point where he's not expected to park it carelessly, he will have to pay. But if he was not careless, if it was just an accident that they can prove to the court that he wasn't careless, then um, the owner cannot recover the remaining installments. I'll give you my note, don't worry. It's more or less like a textbook chapter. Okay, it's like a textbook chapter. Yes, it's very wide, but because, okay, salvation said, I think there's a lot to it. Yes, but because this higher purchase is what some people take for a whole semester. Okay, but what we are just saying is that we just want you to know the rudiments. You know, so you don't think like an ordinary man on the street will think. You think for your business. If you are involved in this kind of a transaction, you cannot be cheated. That is why we are taking you on this course. Okay, salvation. Okay, thank you. It's Faculty of Law, Manuel, Faculty of Law, room 137, Faculty of Law. Okay, I will resend my email. I hope that you have a beautiful night rest. Have a blessed evening. Please, oh, please, before you all go, please wait on, don't go. Our test is coming up next week, Thursday. Can you hear me? Our test is coming up next week, Thursday. Did you get me? Our test is next week. um uh, People are asking if it's online. Better go and read very well. Just go and read very well. Ensure I'm not going to answer that question now. Go and read very well. Yeah, yeah. Bolodoku says we can't wait. I'm not saying you should wait, so don't bother waiting. I'm just telling you there's a test. Your test is coming up next week, Thursday. Read one. Oh, Darren, there's no problem. If you read very well. And that's why I take my time to explain all these things to you. And I'm saying even if in the class you didn't get me properly, I'm giving you the avenues to reach me. Manuel, I don't like that statement. He said, don't forget to drop your notes. Is it by force to drop my note for you? It's a privilege. Hope you know. Okay, so please, my help us we send the attendance. I can't. Is your class rep that? Where were you when they sent the attendance? Okay, so salvation, I can't guarantee that your question will be direct. You, of course, you have illustrations. That's part of. We need to test that you understand what we are saying, but then you have everything. You have straight question. You have scenarios and all. Some people are saying that the attendance is not opening. Please, oh. Okay, so guys, I hope you be prepared very well for your test next week, Thursday. See you. Bye.